Hey, this is Shadowrun Hong Kong. There's apparently 2 campaigns in this one, so we'll start here with the first one. That's actually a pretty cool new portrait. Spend karma. Oops. Security. Cyberware fit. Unlocks additional cyberware such as hand razor cyber weapon. Unlocks additional cyberware such as the spur cyber weapon. Unlocks the twin slash ability for hand razors. Plus 1 additional essence. Unlocks a viscerator for hand razors. That's pretty cool.
Raymond. I hope I have the right number. Look, I know we haven't spoken in a while, but I need your help. Remember the day I took you and Duncan off the streets? I told you that the past is just a story, that if you can just accept that, your past loses all power over you. Yeah. I was wrong. I'm on my way to Hong Kong now, to finish something I should have faced a long time ago. And I need you with me. I know we're not blood, and we didn't leave things in a good place, but you and Duncan are the only real family I have. Please, if our past means anything to you, me in Hong Kong right away. I'll explain more when you get here. I'm begging you. I'm almost out of time.
This intro must have been added later on, because I don't remember this one. Hard Landing. Raymond Black, the old man, gave you a home once, took you and Duncan off the gang-ridden streets of the Barrens, sheltered, educated, slapped sense into you both, until you almost resembled productive members of society. And then you took off, left it all behind, landed behind bars for a time, tried to start a new life. After that, it's been 8 years since you've heard Raymond's voice, until out of the blue, you got this cryptic message, a plea for help. Meet me in Hong Kong, right away, and wired to your account, enough in the end to pay for the flight and then some. The descent is rough. A squall comes out of nowhere, sending a solid sheet of rain punching into the suborbital transport. With a ragged shudder, the plane finally skids to a halt at the edge of the Sheklap-Kok tarmac. An hour and an interminable number of emotionless security checkpoints later, you hail a water taxi to Victoria Harbour. Hong Kong looms ahead, pulsing with energy. Hong Kong, Victoria Harbour, August 2056, monsoon season. You step from the churning of the water taxi to the ponderous rocking of the docks, your stomach lurching at the transition. As soon as you're clear, the captain nods once and steers the small craft back into the harbour. The man never said a word, just handed you a worn brown duffel bag when you stepped on board, filled with gear, some stiff new body armour, and a note. Better safe than sorry, D. Above, the smog-thick clouds hang low in the sky, reflecting the lights of the city in a nauseating swirl. The wind changes direction more than once, creating a heady stew of aroma, diesel, sea salt, street food, and filth. It's all you can do to keep your in-flight meal where it belongs. Two figures stand waiting in the dim light of a pier. The first is an orc, lean with an in-your-face muscles and a jaw made to break fists. The second is an elf, one hand resting casually against her hip. Raymond Black is nowhere to be seen. Duncan, well, don't you look like shit? Duncan Wu, the closest thing you have to a brother. You haven't seen the man in 8 years, still as charming as ever. He grins. Green's not really your color, Arnold. Doesn't go with that nice new armor of yours. Armor I got you. As you open your mouth to respond, something shifts alarmingly in your stomach, a liquid, bumbling sensation. Tough it out. Don't know what you're talking about. Must be the harbor lights messing with you. Must be. Guess you've still got some of your old fortitude at least. He laughs. Considering how much synthol we used to put down, I'd be surprised if you couldn't handle a little chop. Anyway, we gotta find Raymond. Where's the old man? Never showed up. He's still got the same baritone rasp, had it since he was 12. Wu developed early. Did you try him on com? Nah, just been walking around the docks shouting his name. He says it as a joke, but there's a note of concern in his voice. I've been trying him for the last hour, no answer. You seem kinda tense. You eating enough fiber? My colon's fine, thanks. Wu rubs his head. He's an old man, and he's out there alone somewhere. Okay, now I'm worried. I think you should be. The orc bows his head. His voice sounds far away. He's not the same, Arnold. Raymond hasn't been himself in a long time. The Raymond that I remember was a bit distant to begin with. This is different. He's been restless, staying in his study, inside his own head, a lot, and barely sleeps anymore. I've been worried about him, but I haven't figured out what to do about it. He looks up at you and shrugs. And I didn't have a brother to turn to. Hell, wasn't too sure you were even still alive, until Raymond managed to track down your number. The woman standing beside him breaks in. We should get going, Duncan. Head back to the meeting point in case your dad shows up. Copy that, Sarge. They're wearing Lone Star body armor. Looks like Duncan Wu's been gone private police. You're his partner? Unfortunately, yes. Although partner is not the right word for it. Exactly. I like superior officer better, she grins. I let him carry my coffee for me, write my parking tickets, that kind of thing. The woman taps her chest with an armored finger. Carter. I figured I could use some backup. Didn't know what raid got himself into, and I wasn't sure you were gonna show up. It's a tossed-off remark, but there's an undercut of resentment in it. You got something you want to say? Nope, he shakes his head. Hey look, I'm glad you're here, Arnold, seriously, but I'm gonna need some time to get used to having you around again. Been a while since I heard from you. Know what I mean? Memories of sleepless nights in lockup flash by, wondering if you'd ever see Duncan or Raymond again, wondering if you ever wanted to. And then, stepping out of the daylight, suddenly free, the fallout of some obscure corporate restructuring. A few hundred yen worth of apology from your former jailers, and a decision to start new life, to leave the past behind, all of it, until now. I had my reasons, can we leave it for that for now? Wu stares at you, his goggles reflecting the harbor lights. Sure. He scans the waterfront, frowning. Let's just find Raymond. He was supposed to meet us in the plaza, on the other side of the pier. The sooner we find him, the sooner you all can have a big happy family reunion over dinner. Carter grins. And the sooner I can find a place to get a drink around here. Damn right. Ahead of you, Hong Kong rises serpent-like from the sea. Government and megacorp coiled together, riding in their basket of institutionalized corruption. No one can tell where the snake's body ends and its tail begins. That's what Raymond used to say. Duncan turns and starts down the pier. Carter follows. Fresh construction is expanding in the harbor out into the water. Corporate interest can afford the... yeah, I don't fucking know. Those goes way too fast. There we go, like that. The guard shack at the end of the pier is dark and empty. Duncan gives the gate a push, but it doesn't budge. Well, that was open earlier. Duncan frowns. Looks pretty solid. Shouldn't there be someone here to let us out or something? Yeah, smells a little funny, don't it? Carter shrugs. Who knows? It's Hong Kong. Not exactly sure how things work around here. Come on, rookie. We can cut through the construction site. I hate it when you call me that. The gate is locked, but the nearby control panel appears accessible. Carter pulls it open with a metallic screech that pierces your skull, sending a new wave of pain down to your churning stomach. She examines the control panel for a moment, then throws Wu a backward glance. Looks like there's another way off the docks on the other side of the gate. I think that I can bypass the lock. Let me take a crack at that. Carter steps aside to let you get at the panel. Enjoy. This is a civilian area and security is light. You bypass this door circuit with ease. The gate rattles open. Movement. Shouting in Cantonese. More Cantonese, too quick to catch. The leader shouts something in Cantonese, but it's too fast to make out. You're rusty. It's been years since Raymond's house and the language lessons that wouldn't end. The old man never spoke anything but his native language at home. Wu speaks with authority. His Cantonese is as solid as ever. He never let it drop. You guys doing some late night fishing? Tattooed gunman. The smuggler smiles. Oh yeah, we're fishing for assholes. Wu points at their weapons. You're gonna need some better bait. All you're gonna catch with that is trouble. We're just passing through. Why don't you put your guns away? Try out your Cantonese. Their spokesman laughs, looks at his crew. Hey, you talk good Cantonese, baby. Real authentic. He keeps laughing. Actually, you just told me you're gonna crap a gun. Wu flashes his badge. Lone Star. Put the gun down. The smuggler squints at Wu's badge, then smiles at his friends. Never seen a badge like that before. Either it's fake or you're some kind of security guard. He grasps his rifle. Either way, this ends the same. I think he's done talking. You think those guys were trial? Not sure. I don't recognize their tattoos. Toko. Another gate panel. This one's vandalized and busted up good. A real nightmare of a repair job. Wu stares at the fence, considering. Loops and whorls of razor wire glitter in the lamplight. Looks edged with monofilament. The corporations here don't screw around. Why don't you just cut yourself an opening? She shakes her head. Even if you could, it would snap back on you. Ever seen a high-tension wire whip through a human body? You don't want to. Duncan nods his agreement. We aren't touching it. How about it, Carter? Think you can get the gate open? She winks at him. What do you think? She eyeballs the job. It'll take me a few minutes, though. Frowning, and she leans in to get a closer look at the mangled fuse box. A few seconds later, she starts pulling wires and yanking fuses. A look of intense concentration on her face. She's competent. In Cantonese, Arnold. He sounds like Raymond when he does that. In Cantonese, she's competent. I know, she runs the riot squad I'm assigned to. He continues in Cantonese. We speak only Cantonese from now on, just like we did when we lived at Raymond's. Those endless drills are about to pay off. It's coming back, won't be a problem. He nods once, satisfied, then turns his back and scans the horizon. At least you can still handle yourself in a fight. So you're Lone Star now, huh? His back's still to you, that's right. Aren't you wondering what I've been up to the last 8 years? Still giving you his back? Nope. The silence between you gets louder, heavier. Then it's broken by a sudden wailing screech. Wu's hand goes to his holster. The screecher is replaced by the sound of grinding wheels. Glancing over to the console, you see Carter grinning back at you. Got it. The light from the nearby vendor stall stabs into your eyes, triggering a throbbing ache in the back of your skull. You stop short, squinting, as rough voices drift in on the wind. Where's everyone else? Where's the damn shipment? Haven't seen them yet. We just got here. Their voice becomes irritated. Long ways probably waiting for us, so we can haul it out of the boat for him. That lazy bastard. Let's just hang out here. Let's let him find us. Carter keeps her voice low. Looks like we're on a stroll through Smuggler Central. These gangers don't know we're here. We should probably just slip past. Or we could clip them. They're already looking for us. Might be better to take them out now. Well, we got the element of surprise on our side. While unaware hostiles are on screen, press the unholster button to enter turn-based combat mode. It's a long fucking run for a dead end. Crossing the street, you can make out 4 shadowy figures loitering in the plaza ahead. Troll, orc, dwarf, elf, 2 men, 2 women. They're different from the smugglers on the dock. Alert, poised, professional. You can see that they've made a token attempt to conceal their weapons. The unspoken message is clear. We're strapped. Mind your manners. Wu stands up tall, takes that amused tone he gets whenever he's standing toe-to-toe with someone bigger. Someone who doesn't know they're about to go down. Evening, folks. You got permits for those bazookas? The thick troll pulls his mouth into a comic frown. Permits? Give me a minute. He makes a show of patting his pockets. Nope, guess not. I must have dropped mine in the dumpster, along with the last idiot who stepped to us. Wu coolly surveys the scene, nods in a friendly fashion. Is that right? Well then. You can almost feel Wu's cop training kick in. It's like watching a drone execute a command routine. He reaches for his rifle, brings it up quick, but it's too late. By the time it's hit shoulder level, an assortment of nasty-looking ordnance is already trained on his head. Carter backs him up. She whips her arms forward, fist blazing with magical fire. Her eyes sweep the scene, darting from one figure to another. All right, everyone just be cool. The thick troll's voice is casual, amused. He shakes his gun in Wu's face. Little late for that, isn't it? Raise your weapon too. Nah, it's never too late to be cool. The troll winks at you and gives his attention to Wu. Maybe we got off on the wrong foot just now. Something we can do for you, officer. His mouth breaks into a patronizing grin. Wu's jaw tightens, but his tone stays cool and controlled. I'm looking for an old man, Raymond Black. We were supposed to meet him here. You know him? The troll nods his enormous head. Wu's voice gets an edge. You can see a vein in his temple start to pulse. Where is he? Carter sees this too, keeps her voice neutral. Easy, Duncan. The troll maintains amused eye contact, but his weapon stays trained on Wu. That's right, easy, Duncan. Your friend Raymond never showed. We've been waiting for the better part of an hour. Who are you? He eyes Duncan, no one who you want to mess with. The orc girl chimes in. Her tone is light. She's trying to defuse the situation. We do odd jobs for money. What did he want with you? The troll's yellow-brown tusks shift into a smile again. He needed friends, the heavily armed kind. The old man hired us to take you all on a little excursion. Wu's brow furrows. Hired you. He takes a moment, looks them over. They're an odd assortment, a cybered-up troll, an orc girl with magical fetishes, a dwarf with cyberdeck slung over on her back, and a tall man standing behind them, inscrutably, all with guns trained on Wu. Understanding spreads across Wu's face. His jaw tightens. You're Shadowrunners. The troll nods. Wu's shoulder creep up. His stance tightens. This is bullshit. Raymond would never hire Shadowrunners. They're criminals. The troll corrects him. Mercenary operatives. The dwarf cuts in. Her voice is soft but strong. Criminal mercenary operatives. So yeah, you were right. Your buddy Raymond was associating with a bunch of hardened criminals. The troll tosses Wu a sideways smile while staring down the barrel of his gun. Sorry to burst your bubble, Lone Star. Guess you didn't know the old man as well as you thought, huh? Wu tries to shake it off, but is struggling to process the information. You can feel the heat coming off him. The runners sense it too, and they tense up tight. They're keyed on Duncan, and their guns are big. The look on their faces makes it clear. One wrong bead of sweat, and Wu's going down in a red mist cloud. Carter remains completely still. Her voice is level, moderate. She's done this before. Let's all stay focused. No need for this to get ugly. She speaks quietly to Wu, who listens without turning. He is focused squarely on the troll. We need to find Raymond. These are the people who can help us do that. What were you hired to do? You can tell the work girls had enough of the tension. She blurts it out. The old man wanted us to take him into Kowloon Walled City. She waves a hand at the three of you. You too. Two large rats clinging to her hip and shoulder poke their heads out of the folds of her clothing. They fix their beady eyes on you intently. You know the Walled City? Slum, right? I've heard of it. The girl sneers, rolling her eyes. It's a shithole. The worst slum in the Eastern Hemisphere. Memories of growing up in the Redmond Barrens flash through your mind. We get it. It's a real bad place. Now why would a little old man pay you to take him there? The dwarf standing next to her nods and jumps in. Wouldn't say. He mumbled a lot too. Just kept rambling on and on about how he had to get in. Under ordinary circumstances, I never would have accepted the gig. The walled city is the last place I want to go. But the old man rolled up a truckload on yen, and you gotta eat, right? Wu risks a glance at you. His weapon remains trained on the Shadowrunners, but a flicker of uncertainty plays across the face. Interesting story. Seems like a good time to ramp down the threat of violence, don't you think? The troll flashes you a smile. That's all tusks and no worms. Okay, gang, I'll tell you what. He looks at his team as he slowly starts to lower his weapon. We're all gonna put our guns down. Carter, snipers, take cover. The sound of high-caliber rifle shots hangs in the air, and the red dots of laser sights sweep the area. Carter the Troll and the Silent Elf lie dead in widening pools of blood, their heads broken open like melons dropped from a 4-story building. The orc girl screams for cover. Nightjar, come on, big man, talk to me. Gunshot, gutshot. No. She turns to the dwarf, her eyes wild with fear. Oh shit, this isn't good. A voice blares out from the loudspeaker. This is the police. Lay down your weapons. Put your hands behind your head and come out where we can see you. Duncan, Wu, Arnold Roomquist. Come out where we can see you. You have 3 seconds. Duncan crouches behind cover, his gaze locked on Carter's corpse. His voice comes out in a hoarse roar. Stand down, damn it. I'm law enforcement, Lone Star. He's driven deeper into cover by a hail of gunfire. The dwarf shakes her head at him. Her voice is flat. Save your breath, they won't listen. Use your eyes. These bastards aren't here to make arrest. A sniper shot hits the wall next to her head, showering her in an explosion of plaster. We need a way out of here, now. Everyone pipe down, just give me a minute. The rat girl stares at the ground intently, as if listening. Then her brow furrows, her eyes go beady, and her nose wrinkles up. She begins to sway back and forth, her lips moving soundlessly. She snaps out of her trance. Okay, I've got a way out. It's at the end of the street. Everyone come with me. Everyone, we don't need to rent the cops. Go, but we're the only ones. The little orc whips her head towards her friends. Their extra firepower is, I got us an exit, but we've got to get past the heat, and we can't shoot our way out of this on our own. If nothing else, they can soak up a few rounds for us. She turns to you, her pupils pinpricks of intensity. Just stick to cover and keep close. There's a door down the street that leads to the back alley. That's our exit point. You fall behind, you get left behind. It's still covered. Oh, maybe it's not the whole. Oh, okay, it's not here. There we go. Yeah, that makes more sense then. Shoot grenade. Deactivate the drones. The police drones powered down. Boom! Hit 4 more enemies with an area of effect attack. That's not Marines' business. Stay in cover. Dutch shaman guides you from the doorway on the street through an eternity of winding alleys, damp sub-basements, and empty buildings, stumbling through refuse and filth. You make your way into the sewers below, Victoria Harbour. It reeks down here, but it's quiet. Goblet stops, sniffs, and wipes her eyes with the back of her wrist. Her rats squeak softly in the folds of her clothing. The dwarf watches her silently for a moment, then moves closer and gently takes her hand. In the dim light of the sewers, you can see they're nearly the same age, no more than 20, 21 tops. Need a rest? The two women exchange a glance. No, we're good. Gobbet looks back the way you came. I think we've shaken them. She sniffs the air. Yeah, we're clear. Wu begins pacing, his boots splashing in the sewer water, creating echoes down the tunnel. You can feel the tension coming off of him in waves. This is bullshit. I've done messing around in alleys and sewers. I'm done running from the cops. He pokes a thumb at his chest and spits his anger forth in a raspy growl. For fuck's sake, I am a cop. We noticed. There's a Lone Star sergeant dead back there. Damn it, Wu starts choking up. He struggles against it, fighting to maintain control, but he needs a minute to recover. He finally manages to pull it together, but he's raw. When he speaks again, his voice is seething and hoarse. I don't know what the hell is going on with the Hong Kong cops, but I'm calling in some Lone Star backup from home. I'm gonna get some of my own people down here. Then we're gonna find Raymond and figure out what the hell is going on. The little orc shrugs. Whatever you say, big boy, you have fun with that. She looks over at your friend. They both nod. Is and I are out of here. Best of luck finding your friends. Best of luck, that it? Her brow furrows. That's right. What did you expect? We formed some sort of posse like in your old cowboy bits. Ride out to find the killers and see justice done. We've got you to safety, and now we're done with this shit. We don't intend to die for you. Wu isn't listening. You can see on his face that he's already written the orc girl off. He pulls his security grade PDA from its holster on his left leg, raises it, and starts tapping the button with a meaty finger. The Lone Star logo on the back of the device looks shiny and official. He stops confused and then taps it again. Harder. The red flashing image on the PDA reflects in his goggles. What the hell? I'm locked out of the network. He looks up at you. My law enforcement status has been revoked. He goes back to the screen. I don't believe it. This is saying there's an APB out on us, Arnold. You and me both. I figure as much. You heard them on the loudspeaker. They knew our names. Wu glares at the wall, a storm raging across his face. Fucking hell. His hand clenches into a fist around his PDA. This just keeps getting worse. He leans forward as if to punch the wall, his knuckles rapping against it softly, a pantomime of barely contained rage. Suddenly, he turns and slings his PDA at the far wall. If it hits hard, bounces back and clatters to the ground at his feet. He looks down at it, spent. The orc mouths okay to herself, eyebrows raised. And on that note, I think it's time for us to say goodbye. Come on, Isabel, let's... She's cut off by a sudden smashing noise as her friend's boot comes crashing down on the PDA at Wu's feet. The dwarf looks down at her work, unsatisfied, and brings her boot down again and again and again, until there's nothing left but a snarl of plastic housing, broken glass and circuit board. She looks up at Wu, her chest heaving, and points at the pile of scrap she's created. Police issue. They can trace you through that. She turns to you, hand out. Yours too, it's on the network. Hand her your PDA. Well, there goes all my free upgrade points. Isabel takes her PDA and repeats her boot stomping. There. She looks over at Goblet, sighs, then reaches into her jacket pocket, pulling out 2 new PDAs. She hands them to you and Duncan. Burners. I suppose it's the least we could do after your help back there. Thanks, now what? Now we get out of this sewer and head our separate ways. Right, this? Isabel isn't listening. She is staring open-mouthed at her own PDA. Its bluish glow illuminate her horrified expression. Gobbet, we gotta go, right now. Isabel's voice is monotone but empathic. She holds up her PDA to show her friend. They're after us too. Her screen displays a local newscast. Your own face stares back at you from upper left corner of the screen. And in breaking news, just under an hour ago, Hong Kong port authorities were involved in a firefight with members of a terrorist cell linked to the mainland city-state of Henan. The battle left 3 terrorists dead, along with an unconfirmed number of Hong Kong police officers. Your image winks out, replaced by a scowling image of Duncan Wu, a mugshot from long time ago, before Raymond. Our sources report that Seattle natives, Duncan Wu and Arnold Runquist, along with their Hong Kong-based accomplices, are still at large. They are well armed and should be considered extremely dangerous. Low-res photographs of Gobbet and Isabel pop up on screen, replacing Duncan Wu. The color drains out of Gobbet's face. Oh shit. Kowloon officials report that the terrorist cell, known as the White Star, maintains ties to the state of Henan, and it is purported to be receiving weapons and funding from anti-corporate groups in the UCAS city-states of Seattle. Port authorities are standing on high alert, and the Hong Kong Police Force's Special Duties Unit have been engaged to deal with the threat. We go live now to Chief Inspector Crate at the Special Duties Unit, who will be making a statement. Behind the newscaster, a video window displays the location of your firefight in the Victoria Harbour. The camera pans to Chief Inspector Crate. She is surrounded by a swarm of news reporters, but appears unfazed by the attention. She speaks with supreme confidence. We have yet to ascertain the motives for tonight's attack, but it was clearly a well-planned and coordinated effort. Crate sounds smooth, more like a corporate mouthpiece than a cop. We have already issued an all-points bulletin along with a kill or capture order for the 4 remaining terrorists, and I have instructed the Special Duties Unit to make this manhunt a top priority. She looks directly into the camera. If you should see one or more of these individuals, do not attempt to engage them. Instead, tap into HKPF flash code at the bottom of the screen. If you are on an authorized network and take a picture, our system will automatically identify them in your data stream. The Decker switches off the newscast and clips her PDA back onto her belt. For a moment, there is no sound but the roar of sewer water rushing through the pipes. Gobbet bends over, hands on her knees, sucking wind. Her rats scurry for a new position. I thought we were fucking fucked before. Wu's voice is eerily calm, but now we are well and truly fucked. We'll deal with it, Duncan, we always do. Wu mouths tightens, not this time, Arnold. He begins stalking back and forth, a panther in a cage. They've labeled us as terrorists, and there's an APB out on us. I've heard this kind of announcement before. I know what comes with it. It doesn't matter if we have nothing to do with whatever city-state. They're gonna hunt us down. It's open season. Isabel nudges the remains of Wu's PDA with her boot's toe, and the 2 of us will be hunted down right alongside you. Gobbet wide eyes, the exit, tight as a spring. You can hear shallow panting as she leans towards one, then the other. We gotta go deep, hit the mainland for a while, until we can figure this out, find a hole to crawl into. Gobbet looks at Isabel, wipes her mouth, and points at you and Duncan. We've gotta get them off the grid too, way off. The dwarf looks up at Duncan, and her large eyes narrow. Hey Lone Star, you've got a security license, right? That means that you've got a SIN too. Wu's brow furrows. Of course I have a SIN. I wouldn't be able to get paid otherwise. Only criminals and lowlifes go sinless. She runs her hand along her cyberdeck, thinking. That means that you can be traced, both of you. You get spotted by a drone or a security camera, get ID'd by a retinal scanner, or try to use your cred stick or passport. The HKPF will know just where to find you. Wu crosses his arms across his chest. I know how a system identification number works, runner. Leave her alone, Duncan. We're all in this together. Gobbet pulls at the dreadlocks. We're just as screwed as you are, me and Is. We were listed as your accomplices, and we can't afford for you to get caught. You'll lead them to us, one way or another. DNA samples, things we told you, astral residue, I don't know, cup stuff. The little Decker looks from you to Wu, eyes narrowed, sizing you up. You can see her make a silent decision before she speaks. Her voice is flat, resigned. We need to get your sins burned, delete you from the record books, all of them. All of them? Whoa, wait a minute, you want us to just erase our identities? Wu rubs a hand across his scalp. Beyond the fact that it's insane, will that even work? If we burn our sins, go off grid like that, won't they just redouble their efforts to find us? Condescension seeps in its way into Isabel's dry tongue. Imagine playing a game of hide and seek with the siren strapped to your head. Would you rather try and hide with the siren or with the siren conspicuously absent? Let's just get on with it. What do we need to do? Goblet's voice drops. We gotta ask for help. There's only one person we know who has the kind of pull it takes to burn us in and hide us from the cops. Kindly Shane. Who's Kindly Shane? Some sort of super decker? No, Kindly's no decker. She's what's known as a straw sandal, kind of a middle manager for the Yellow Lotus Syndicate, their trial. Kindly Shane controls all of the illegal activities in our neighborhood: smuggling, bootlegging, counterfeiting. Sounds like my kind of scum. She leans in, serious as death. This is no joke. Kindly Shane controls a good-sized portion of Kowloon's underworld. She has soldiers, resources, she's smart, and she is not to be underestimated. Isabel's voice is hollow and flat. Taking favors from a woman like Kindly Shane is a good way to get yourself into indentured servitude. You don't want to owe favors to a woman like that. Her eyes get big, round. Ideally, you don't want to deal with her at all. That was Nightjar's job. Wait a minute, you know this woman. We've only met once or twice. Nightjar was the one who worked with her. Like I said, she's got her fingers in everything, including brokering Shadowruns for the corps. Kindly Sheng is our fixer. Goblet tries to make her voice light, confident. Just stay on the good side and you'll have nothing to worry about. Now let's get this done before one of you trips the APB and brings all hell down on us. Okay, that's it for now. Time to eat some dinner, but I'll be back later with more. Thanks for watching.